In this video, we are going to talk about the new receipt and communications process. Specifically, we're going to look at how to set up the new receipt and communications process for your entity. And our aim is to produce a PDF file which you can print and send the receipts to your donors. There are 4 one-time setup steps that must be done. The first is creating a file cabinet folder. The second is creating a saved search. The third is creating the template. And the fourth is creating a communication definition. So to get started, we will create our file cabinet folder. On my screen, I am in the Andorra training entity, and I am specifically going to change into the role Entity Record Manager. And this is because this is the role that can control the settings we need to look at. In this role, I would like to look for my Andorra entity under Setup Company Entities. And I am going to edit the Andorra entity. The important thing to find here is the Communications File Storage Folder field. You can see here there is nothing populated in this field. This is what we need to fix. What we need to do first is create a folder in the file cabinet. There are lots of folders already in the file cabinet, but for our entities, we use the Entities folder, and then we find the folder related to our entity. In this case, AND for Andorra. I'm going to create a folder in here for my PDF receipts by clicking on New Folder. Give it a simple name and click Save. And that has created a folder. I'm just going to click on one folder up, the AND folder, and I can see my listed PDF receipts here. Now, if you look at the very bottom of the screen, as I'm hovering over the folder, you can see a number. It's 1389666. 1389666. This is the folder number that I put in the field Communication File Storage folder on the entity record. 1389666. And then the link that's come up at the bottom there is 1389666. And then save. And that is the first step completed. We have a file cabinet folder. So our next step was to create a saved search. So I'm going to switch now to the report writer role. There are some template saved searches which you can copy for your own entity. So in the global search bar, I'm going to find one of these receipts. And you can see here, we have a search called Donation Receipt Master. So I'm going to edit this. And you have to be really careful here. I am not going to overwrite this one. I'm going to click on Save As. But before I do that, let me quickly show you what's going on here. When you run this search, it will look for your entity. It will look for cash sales, for donation cash sales. It will look for where your donor's receipt preference is print. And it will bring in donations on or before, that's interesting, the 1st of January 2019. In the search title, the custom is to start the search with your entity ID. So I'm typing AND for Andorra. On this one, I'm just going to change the original donation date to on or after 1st of January 2020. These are the donations that I wish to receive. And I'm going to save as. And that is my search created. So the next thing we need is a template. So still in the report writer role, under customization forms, there is an option for advanced PDF HTML templates. So we will select that. And fairly near the bottom of that list, we will have a template which is called Donation Receipt Master. And again, we are going to take a copy of this default template. So we edit, let's start again. We're going to create a new template to start off with. So this is the template we are creating for our entity. I'm going to call this AND with my 3-letter entity code. Donation receipt. These are the ones we are going to send out to print. I need to link this to the search I have just created. And then we're going to save. Now what you will see here is not helpful. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch the source code here to on, and we do want to continue. And then what we're going to do, we're going to delete everything in here. So I'm going to do Control A to select everything, hit delete, and then save. So what we have now, don't worry about that, just click save. We now have an empty template. We will now go to the master template, which was called Donation Receipt Master. We will click on Edit. And then we're going to copy everything in here into our template. So I'm going to do Control A, select everything, Control C, copy everything. And then I'm going to go to the template I have just created. So I'm searching for Andorra, but unfortunately And is involved in a lot of things. And donation receipt print. So I'm going to edit. And I'm going to Control V, V for Victor, which will paste. I've just copied in. And I'm going to click Save. And that has now saved correctly. We now have our template. Our final step is to create a communication definition. So this will link everything together. So I'm going to switch to a bookkeeper role. Then under Transactions, Donations, Communication Definition, I'm going to select that. And I'm going to select a new communication definition. So I can call it what I want. I'm going to call this donation receipts. Now this is an individual donation receipt, so I'm going to tick this box. The delivery preference is print. I'm going to select the saved search that I have created. And I'm also going to select the template that I have created. I'm going to click Save. So now we have performed all the setup steps. The last thing to do is to generate the receipts. So under Transactions, Donations, Communication Processing Batch, we are going to create a new communication processing batch. And this is what you will run every time you want to generate receipts. So we're generating individual donation receipts. We're going to select the communication definition we just created. And we're going to click Save. And when we have clicked Saved, we get some more options. I'm going to click Process Receipts. We can see the status has changed to processing. Depending on how many receipts this is to generate will depend how long this takes. If you have 10 receipts, this may take 30 seconds. If you have 1,000 receipts, this may take a few minutes. To see how it's going, you can click Refresh. We can see now that the status has changed to identifying donors to process. And we see it is beginning to put in all the donations that will be generated for a receipt. And we see now it is ready to print. On the file link, it has generated a file. We click that file, and we can see now it has generated receipts.